So good.
Hey, welcome to the Carpool Honcho. My name is Dean Payne from the Crate Flexible Office Space. This is
Rory from the Marketing Guys.
And our guest today, the Carpool Honcho, is Cam Calkoen, 2020 New Zealand Speaker of the Year and Ambassador for Toyota New Zealand. So good to have you, Cam.
Thank you.
You're a legend.
Hey,
Awesome.
Cam, tell me one thing, dude. What song gets you up in the morning, gets you going, cranking the day?
Oh, mate. Well, it's kind of more of a word, and I've got the word with me, and it is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've got your song. What is it?
My song, Everything is Awesome,
From?
the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome when we live in our dream.
3, 2, 1, go. Have you heard the news? Everyone's talking. Life is good cause everything's awesome. Lost my job, it's a new opportunity. More free time from my awesome community. I feel more awesome than an awesome possum. Dip my body in chocolate frosting. 3 years later I shot the frosting. Smelling like a blossom. Everything is awesome. Stepped in mud, got new brown shoes. Awesome to win and it's awesome to lose. Awesome to lose.
Let's go for a drive, shall we?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
So good to have you with us, Cam. I've known you for a few years now, mate, and every time I get in your field of influence, mate, it just absolutely lights my fire.
Yeah.
Mate, you were a young man that was born with cerebral palsy, right?
Yeah.
But you've lived this extreme life of being an overcomer. You've talked about being at school and overcoming bullying, because I guess most kids with cerebral palsy kind of get picked on a bit. You've talked about being the player of the day with cricket at school, participating in school athletics, and then you advanced to be one of New Zealand's global speakers that speaks to thousands and thousands every flipping year. And then to top it off, if that wasn't enough, you climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, my mate. Many of us people here would not even have the guts to do what you've done with your life. How did you end up not living the stereotypical life of a kid with cerebral palsy? Tell us, mate.
Well, it's all about energy, right? And also, what is normal? And I think there's this real thing of like, what else do you see other than the cerebral palsy? And for me, that's what I've focused on. And it's always come back to, what is my dream? Like, I have control of who I want to be in this world. And a dream creates a goal creates an opportunity. And what we do with our opportunities is up to us. So when cool stuff's come along, I've really just said yes. Kept it pretty simple.
Say yes.
Say yes, Kilimanjaro. The reasons we're saying yes were way more awesome than the perceptions were saying no. We got to the top, 19,000 feet. Boom.
So good.
I absolutely love what you said about, what is normal, because I'm going to say it out there and it's going to maybe upset a few people, but, for us so-called normal people, we would not say yes to all the things that you have. And that's a blight, but humanity is humanity, right?
Humanity is humanity, and we see all these things in the world, inventions, creations, and you go, oh my gosh, that was such a simple idea.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that? And it's the same with our own lives. Why didn't we think of how we want to live? I thought about how I want to live. I put action into it.
So impressive. So good.
And
But
how did you turn that around? How do you reignite that?
well, I mean, at the end of the day, the reason in which I started feeling shit and started dropping out of life was because of what I was telling myself, my own perceptions of what other people were doing, and what a shit way to live.
Yep.
What a real bad way to live, to be blaming a situation or a scenario. And if Cam Calkoen was a meal, right? Cerebral palsy would be one ingredient of that meal, right? It doesn't necessarily make it a good thing or a bad thing. So all I had to do is reimagine what I looked like, who I was. And so instead of worrying about the way I walk, I decided to be inspired by athletes and became an athlete. And instead of worrying about the way I talk, I decided to see my speech as an accent, not an impediment, and became a speaker and gave people things to think about.
Wow.
Wow, Cam, that is super, super cool, man. Hey, you know, Dino, myself, as so-called normal kids, we grew up and we were being bullied, and we had issues with our up here and that sort of thing.
I got bullied.
Exactly.
How did you not get bullied?
Yeah. How did you go to the playground and see all these mates playing rugby, football, skateboarding? How did you integrate with these guys? How did you relate to them and build rapport?
Yeah, well, it was exactly that. So as a kid, it was about building rapport, saying, hey, I can't skateboard, but I have a scooter, and on my scooter, I can go wherever you go, that kind of thing. But becoming a teenager, that's when it got really hard, you know? And I'm just looking out and I'm wondering if I can ever have a wife, be successful in business, be competitive in sport. And I started putting all this kind of rhyme and logic that wasn't necessarily fair as to why I couldn't succeed. And what a shit way to live. What a shit way to be telling yourself things that you can and can't do. And so I just thought I have to reimagine. And instead of rolling about the way I walk, I decided to be inspired by amazing athletes and became an athlete.
So good.
Instead of rolling about the way I talk, I decided to see my speech as an impediment. And so instead of rolling about the way I talk, I decided to see my speech as an accent instead of an impediment.
That is awesome, man.
And gave people stuff to think about. And one thing, can I share a story here about the power of our imagination and the law of attraction? I remember as a 24-year-old walking past a car yard and I saw this car, right? And it was big, boxy, bright, just like me. And because it was a Toyota, it wasn't too expensive, but more than my 1994 RAV4. And I wanted this car, so I went in and I stuck a poster of this car on my wall.
Yeah.
It was the first thing my dream board.
Dream boards,
The
man.
first thing I'd see when I'd wake up, the last thing I'd see before going to sleep. And that inspired me to do all I had to do. Fast forward a year, I get the opportunity to speak with Toyota New Zealand. I then got that car as an ambassador for Toyota New Zealand. So the big dream was to get that car. Achieving more was becoming an ambassador for an organisation.
So
Right?
good, dude. So good. So good.
And that's the power of what we think. That is energy, right?
Yeah.
You give out that energy.
Cam, mate, that is amazing. And you know, this year we've just gone through a massive 12 months with COVID, right? And you mentioned that you lost $130,000 worth of income overnight with COVID.
Wow.
Now, you know, you've talked today about the power of a dream, the power of reimagine. You know, when someone just loses 130 grand overnight, does someone, you know, with the name Calkoen just kind of eat that for breakfast? Or you know, how does a legend like you deal with something like that?
Well, yeah, it was a tough breakfast, you know? Like, all
The
the
big
news.
chocolate fish, that one, man.
Yeah, man, like the news was just boom, 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 and every single email was a cancellation, right?
Oh.
And so you're left thinking, like, man, this is not the dream. This is not what I had in plan. But it came back to the importance of a dream, the importance of reimagining, and that COVID for me became a cool opportunity to validate the impossible
Yeah, man.
dream,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it gave me the opportunity to ask myself, why do I do what I do? And out of COVID, I created an event that I would have never created if it wasn't been for COVID.
Brilliant. What a freaking legend. Hey?
That
What a
event.
Can you just get that word out again, mate? I want to see that word. Get it up. Bring it up. You live a life of being awesome.
Woo!
And we want to live a life, all of us listening to you today want to live your life of being awesome, or our lives of being awesome. So thanks for the inspiration, mate.
Hey, listen, I've got a question for you. So New Year's has just happened. Everybody sets in these New Year's goals, blah, blah, blah. But you have a really big goal this year to speak at 100 or over 100 speaking engagements and inspire over 30,000 Kiwis.
Yeah.
How can we get involved in that? How can we book you? And I would encourage everybody in New Zealand to book this man. How cool is he? How can we do that, Cam?
Oh, mate, thank you for the opportunity. Just jump on the website, camcalkoen.com. It will come up, and you know, any speaking engagement, schools, businesses, community. We are in a unique position here in New Zealand.
Hey, and we're honoured to have you coming to speak to the Business with Locals networking group on February the 4th at 4:30 p.m. It's a Thursday. Every single first Thursday of the month we have Business with Locals. We have amazing guest speakers, and the one to kick it off for 2021 is going to be Cam Calkoen. So again, look in the post, click on the Eventbrite link and register yourself for that amazing event. We can't wait to have you with us, mate. At the Crate, of course, for sponsoring this, Business with Locals. The marketing guys, the best marketing company agency in town that you want to do your marketing business with, and of course Toyota New Zealand for providing this hot Toyota Highlander. What a drive.
Life is good cause everything's awesome. Lost my job, it's a new opportunity. More free time for my awesome community. I feel more awesome than an awesome possum. Dip my body in chocolate frosting. 3 years later I shot the frosting. Smelling like a blossom, everything is awesome.